welcome to my channel. As you guys can see by the title, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you guys a little bit about my experience when it came to buying my first home at the age of 25. Alright guys, so my first tip and something you will need to do is save money. You're gonna need money for the contract deposit, the down payment, closing costs, moving your furniture, U-Hauls, if you want to buy new furniture, and the whole move itself is just expensive. So if you decide this is a step you guys want to take, you need to save money. And I'm talking about 10,000, 20,000, 30,000. The more that you can save, the better. The more that you can save, the better. You're gonna need a lot of money. So before you even start looking into a home, just make sure you have a lot of savings. You and your spouse, you and your partner, whoever you're going into this home with, make sure you guys have enough savings, enough money saved. Easy enough, right? Save. If you guys want, I can go ahead and make a video on how I saved and my little tips and tricks on how to save. Number 2, my second tip is basically you need to know what loan you're getting into. The typical loan is the FHA loan, which you're gonna have to put down 3.5% of the purchase price, and then there are conventional loans which you might be asked to put 20% of the purchase price down. So the loan that I went with, which was the FHA loan, which we had to put 3.5% of the purchase price down. So it wasn't too bad. Keep in mind that with the FHA loan, you will have to pay insurance, like mortgage insurance, and that's just to make sure that the bank is gonna get their money if you default on the loan for whatever reason. So the bank's still getting paid. The government's still getting paid. All right. So once you've saved up, once you've figured out what loan you're gonna go with, you go ahead and call mortgage banks to see if you can get pre-approved. So you go ahead, you call there. I think there's Chase. There's a couple that you can even look up online and see if you're able to get pre-approved. What they're looking for is good credit. You have to have at least 620 and up. You have to have 3 credit lines open. You cannot have any late payments. You have to pay your credit on time. They're looking for 2 years at least with your current employer. It shows that you're able to pay, and it shows that you will be consistently paying because you have a stable job. And they're also going to ask for your 2 last W-2s for the past 2 years. You can use W-2s or you can use your tax returns, but they will ask for that. So just keep in mind that you're going to need those documents to purchase your home. All right, so once you get pre-approved, it's time to start searching for your home, your dream home. All right, so what I did was look for a house that was under market value. So the house that I went for had a lot of potential. It has so much potential. It is huge. It has an enormous backyard. Yes, it needs renovation. It needed renovation, but for what I was looking for, it was perfect. My realtor did go ahead and show me 3 other houses around that same area with the same price range, and they were tiny. It was like this big compared to this big. So I decided the best thing for me was to go ahead, get this other house, fix it up, make it my way, the way I'm gonna like it, and let's get the ball rolling. So we decided that's the house for us because the other houses in the area were terrible. They were tiny. Yeah, they were a little more modern, but they were tiny. They were ugly. No backyard space. I have a daughter. Like, my daughter needs to be able to run around. So I was like, let's go with the other house. All right, so you chose your dream home. Now what you do, you have to go ahead and put an offer up. You do that with your attorney and your realtor. They help you with all of that. Make sure you have a great realtor, good attorney, great attorney. So they help you with all of that. So we went ahead and put the offer up. You do have to put the deposit, which is a 1%, which is 1% of the purchase price. So if the house is $100,000, you got to put $1,000 down as your deposit, just to give you guys an idea of what you're working with. So you do go ahead, you put a deposit in, and you offer up. So if the house is 300,000, you're putting 315, whatever it is. Make sure you're not giving too much depending on what you need to fix. The house needs to be fixed. You're not offering that much. You're offering a little more than what the seller is asking for. That's a tip that I learned. You offer a little more, not too much. So we went ahead and did that. Another thing that my realtor recommended me to do was to write a home buyer's letter. So I did write a little letter to the home buyer. A home buyer's letter. I did write a little letter to the home seller, and I did tell her why I was interested in the house, what I planned on doing with it. I am from the Bronx, New York. I was raised with a backyard, but most people aren't. And I do want my daughter to grow up with her backyard. I want my daughter to have all those experiences, and have a huge home all to herself. So I did include things like that in my message, and I'm gonna insert the text message here from my realtor somewhere around the screen, just saying, wow, it did win the seller over and we got the house, so it was worth it. She loved my letter. So as you guys know, I went ahead and sent the letter over to the seller and all the stuff, and guess what? We got approved. So I was so excited. I was so emotional. So the next step, once you get approved, you have 10 days to do your inspection contingency and your financial contingencies, really. So the first thing we went ahead and did was our inspection. Our inspector went ahead and checked everything, made sure the electrical, everything was up to date, everything was good, in order for us to be able to move in. So the seller did have to credit us. She did have to give us money to fix some electrical repairs that were needed. And she did have to give us money for some stairs that were, I think the railing was a little off for someone who has a child. So she did have to give us a credit for that, which means we got money to fix some of the things in the home. So it's always worth it. You do have to do your inspection. It's worth it. The next thing we did was we went ahead and got an appraisal from the bank. So the bank does need to come, make sure that the house is worth what you're paying for, or maybe even more. The house that we did get was worth more than what we offered and what we were going to pay for it. So it was a win-win situation. So that was pretty awesome. It was awesome. So while the bank was doing the appraisal stuff, we were going ahead and getting contractors to walk around our house to give us an estimate on how much it was going to be for the renovations. What you do want to keep in mind is that the value of the home and the renovations, the renovation cost should not be that much. It should not be like $100,000 for a $300,000 house. It should not be $100,000 when the final cost, the house is gonna be worth $400,000. Let's say you're not getting a profit out of that, because you have to think in 10 years you might want to sell a house for you might want to sell your house for a bigger house. So you don't want to put all this money in to then not get back enough money or not get back what you put in. You don't want to do that. So that's one thing that you have to keep in mind is, okay, I'm gonna go ahead, buy this home, I'm gonna fix it up to my liking, but it has to be worth more than what I put in. And you find that out with using comps and just checking, like, okay, this house is really modern. It's gonna be let's say it's a 5-bedroom, 3-bath, it has a gym, it has a pool, all these things. You go ahead and look for houses that same way with those same characteristics, and you look for houses that have those and you see how much they cost. So if that's going for in your area $600,000, you bought the house for $300,000 and you're putting down $100,000, yeah, it's $400,000, but you're gonna make $200,000 of profit. So it's worth it. So you just have to do your research. You have to look into it. You can't just go crazy. Yeah, I'm gonna put a pool, I'm gonna put a jacuzzi, and then at the end of the day the comps are $400,000. So you spent $600,000 and your house isn't even worth it. You know, you're not gonna get any money from that in the long run. So that's something that you need to think about. Okay, so let's go to the next step. All right, so after everything went fine with the bank, once we got our appraisal done and everything was approved by the bank that they were going to be willing to pay the amount that we asked for, our closing date was set. We set our closing date. This was like the day we had been waiting for. This was like our moment. We were so excited for this day. We spent so much time waiting for this day. We went ahead, scheduled the date with the seller and our attorneys and our realtor, my realtor, and it was it was just such a good day. We went ahead, we did the final walkthrough. Everything looked good. We make sure nothing was trashed. There was no crazy parties or anything like that in our home while we hadn't been there, and everything looked perfect. So we went ahead, we signed like a stack, I want to say like a stack of paperwork. You know, you have to sign so much things. And yeah, but we got our home. And it was so amazing. It was the best thing ever. And we went to closing. We all we had to bring was our cashier's check for the down payment, and just a pen. We gotta sign. But once you're done, they hand you your keys and the house is yours. The next day we went ahead and brought our contractors in, but that's another story. All right, you guys, well, that's the end of my video. Thank you so much for staying with me till the end. It was a little long, but you know, that's the experience when you're buying your first home. You really don't know what you're getting yourself into, but it's all worth it in the end. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and comment down below. I'm gonna be answering all questions, and if you guys want to stay with me through this journey of purchasing my home, fixing my home renovations, just stay tuned. I'll be posting a lot of my home renos and all of that. So thank you so much for watching.